Welcome to the Painting Center. I'm Kathy Cantwell, and I'm showing with my friend Brooke Nixon. I want to take you in here and show you my show called Around the Bend. This is the main gallery of the Painting Center. My friend Brooke is down there in the project room. So I have two series in this show. One is called Curved, and the other is called By Inference. I'll start by talking about Curved. Curved was developed basically from a previous series where I paint with rules that I give to myself, and those parameters help me produce what I need to produce. So a previous series, I only allowed myself to do straight lines and create something on the panel, whereas now in this series I allowed for the curve. And the curve came about because I wanted to do a series based on interconnectedness and relationship with others and yourself. So that's what I set out to do. You can see I work with a certain background, which for me is I'm creating space. And that's the negative, and then the positive is the figure that evolves that I put on top of the background. So I should probably have told you the titles to these. For instance, this one is called Centered. Essentially, it is centered, but meaning in our own interpersonal selves, we are centered. This one is called In My Thoughts. This is a relationship with self. You can really see the shine on this. These are all encaustic using beeswax and Damar Resin. The Damar Resin is what gives it its strength and shine. They can go matte, but I buff them up for the show. And in time, they tend to retain the shine. So this one is called Together. Swoop. Interconnection. Hooking into you. And threading the needle. Red. And let's see. This one is called Searching. You can see that's a relationship where it's kind of gone cockeyed. This one is called Trip the Light Fantastic. And so again, you see I have a certain background that I like to work on, creating the space that's so important for these figures. Then I come in and I do use tape to get the outer line of the figure that I'm making. but I paint each dash of color in to build the line. So it looks a little like something that was placed on the surface. People often ask me if they're cutouts, and they aren't. It's just using the tape to hold the line on the outer part, and then all the dashes, allowing for a lot of irregularity. I don't want the line to be equal throughout. I want it to look a little chopped up. You can really see the shine on this one. So that's the curve series. Then I concluded that as the pandemic began. I then started this series called By Inference. I would say my friend Jack McWhorter helped me out with titling some of these because they're not like the curve series. They are geometric abstraction. So this one's basically called Cubed. And I call this series By Inference because when you first look at the series, you're thinking, oh, it could be 3-point perspective, creating the dimensionality. And I basically freehand these things in, and I don't have any preconceived notion. I have a vague idea of what direction I want to make the figure in. I can never guarantee if I pull it off right, because I'm doing a lot by intuition. Even though you might think because it's geometrical that maybe a little more math math is involved, but no such beast. Okay, this one is called Quanta 9. Quanta meaning the light within. This piece has a sister to it. This is 3 planes. I have a back plane, a middle plane, and a forward plane with the cube. This one's called Quanta 10. Playing with the color. Again, trying to be alluding to perspective. That's all I can say. This one is called Quanta 3. I want it to go bigger than the smaller pieces you just saw. And I think in this one I started with the center cube and I built outward. And, you know, the perspective is a little ornery. So I can say when Sharon Butler saw some of these, one in particular, she referred to it as perspective gone wrong. And actually coming from Sharon Bryant, I think that's a compliment. Sharon Butler, I'm sorry, not Bryant. This piece was an answer to the one I just showed you, Quanta 3. This one is called Quanta 6. Yeah, they kind of look alike. The palette's slightly different in these. But I had done the first one, and it was, for me, a personal accomplishment to pull it off. I loved it. I was afraid it would get sold. And then really I was afraid I might not be able to make another one. So I set out to do this one, and I'm pretty confident I can make another. So that's all. It was an interesting exercise. This one is Quanta 8. Again, I came in here, I start with the background, and then I put the cube on in the front. And then it wasn't quite doing it for me, so I slipped the red in. And that really helped create a third level of space, which I appreciated. This little one, Quanta 1. This was the very first that began the cubes. And it was very simple. It has a slight fold in it. If you really look closely, you can see the blocks are kind of haphazard. There's no serious pattern to the color. Again, because when I'm applying the dashes of color, it's all intuitive. It's not formulaic. So this piece inspired this piece over here called Folding. And Folding, by the time I got to this one, I had a little more control in what I was doing. I had made several of these, so my hand was very comfortable doing these. And let's see, I think I've shown you the whole show. And I hope you were able to understand all that I had to say. Thank you.